Hello. Depending on where you are, good morning or good afternoon. Glad to have everybody joining in.
Jerry, hush.
All right, I'm gonna mute everybody out as we have people joining in. We've got, let's see, 12, soon to be 13 of us in here. And we've learned the hard way once we have more than, honestly, like 2 or 3 people, it's best to mute people out just because things can get a little rambunctious in here otherwise. So no disrespect intended. We'll be unmuting here towards the end if you so desire, but otherwise we'll just we'll all be on mute except for me right now. And yeah, we'll get started here in just a moment. We still just had 3 more people join, so give it a couple more minutes. There's 15 of us here. We'll be getting started here shortly. And again, really grateful for everybody to be here. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And let's see, Terry, thank you for having your camera on. Austin, thank you for having your camera on. Appreciate you joining in here from the audio world and the visual world. And I'm going to share my screen from the 2 of you with the cameras on, 3 of you. If I could just get a thumbs up that you can see my screen, that'd be helpful. Okay, wonderful. And then everybody else, thank you as well for joining in. No worries about having your camera off. It's just a personal preference of mine. Nice to see faces. So, all right, again, we'll be getting started here. I guess we'll get started right now. It's 2 minutes past. So glad to have you all here. Again, my name's Dan. I'm one of the co-founders here at Outco. Grateful to have you here on this Wednesday morning, just before the actual hump day. And let us get going. So wanted to say, first of all, thank you and express the gratitude in more of a concrete way. As I said, I'm one of the co-founders here, so I'm kind of particularly sensitive or grateful for people who check us out. It really does mean a lot. I know everyone has a lot of different options, a lot of resources, a lot of things competing for your time and interest. So as a thank you, would like to offer you to sign up for a free online visitor class. It's something that we do here, regardless of whether you're thinking Outco is right for you. We'll be doing a real-time walkthrough of an interview problem that's been asked at Google in the past. It's a dynamic programming problem. It's something that most engineers find to be at least challenging, to some degree, at least, if not outright very challenging. And like I said, it'll be live, a step-by-step walkthrough with one of our coaches. It's going to be, like I said, real time, so you can ask questions throughout it. There's something you're not understanding, unlike, watching a video or something. You can engage with the person who's doing it and actually ask them questions for your understanding. So really, really great opportunity. Again, totally free. We'll take signups for that at the end. We're still having some folks join in here, so we'll take signups at the end for that. So just stick with us. Why Outco? I think that's probably what you're all here to figure out. Is Outco relevant to you? Is this something that you actually want to explore further? Well, in a nutshell, 37% is the answer. So 37% is the median salary increase that I guess the median software engineer sees coming through our program. So that's to say, typical engineer comes through at salary X. The median salary increase that they see is X times 37 or 0.37 plus X. So so pretty powerful stuff there. The average, we're not doing any sort of math trickery using the median. The average is actually much higher. It's in the 60 percentiles. We honestly are afraid that if we set expectations that high, we'd be letting people down then if they got a 37% increase. So we feel this is a much more reasonable set of expectations to kind of have coming in. And obviously, some of you might not be prioritizing salary. There might be other variables that are more important for you. But for the most part, this is kind of the most common denominator for folks is salary. So we use that just sort of at the beginning here. And we'll be covering sort of how we get to that 37%. So how does the program help the median salary increase be 37%? We'll start off with some introductory questions using the chat. And actually, just real quick, while we're to acquaint ourselves with the chat, where's everybody calling in from? As you can see, I'm calling in from beautiful San Francisco. Out here in the background is from my penthouse suite overlooking the Golden Gate. Totally joking. I wish that was true. we are in San Francisco, or at least our offices, and we get to pay that nice San Francisco rent for an office that we can't use thanks to COVID. But nevertheless, interested to hear where everyone's at. I'm actually in Oakland, just across the bay from San Francisco. We've got Atlanta, Florida, Chicago, two folks from Chicago, New York City, Denver. The chat should be flashing orange at you right now, so love to see where everybody's calling in from. Delaware, we got San Fran as well for Terry. Hey, yeah, we're on. Yeah, you know where we're at on Bush Street. Too bad we can't be offering you our physical space anymore. Matthew from Boston. We've got Morgan from Albuquerque. I always think of Bugs Bunny when I think of Albuquerque. New York City for Shirley, and Seattle for Tung. So cool. Thanks for everybody sharing where you're calling in from. Then we're going to dive into the program overview. There's a lot that we do for our engineers. So there's a lot that we're going to be covering. In fact, so much so we might go a little over the 30-minute mark that happened yesterday. If that happens and you got to split, I know some people might be on lunch for work or just taking a break and trying to sort of get edge out of the office. Just let me know if you want to sign up for the visitor class in the chat. I'll try to take care of you before the end. I just want to be sensitive. Some people might be on time constraints here, but it will be in depth, and we'll try to connect it to the why. And then we'll do the visitor class sign up, and then I'll open it up to Q&A. You can ask any questions that you have about your job search, about Outco, about anything at all. I'll stay until every question is answered. And again, I'm one of the co-founders here, so I should be able to answer pretty much any question that you have. So we'll get started with these introductory questions, again, using the chat that we all just used for sharing where we're at. And the first question is, what is your top career priority right now? I know that sounds like a loaded question. You're like, oh my God, where do I even start? It can be pretty simple, just a couple words or a sentence. Doesn't have to be anything more than that. Maybe just 2 words, like I'm looking for a better job. Or better job. Maybe it's looking for a job. You've got laid off from COVID, or you're unemployed for some reason, or you're just ready for something new. Maybe it's just a job, something to pay the bills. Maybe you're looking for that higher salary, again, that 37% salary increase, or maybe you're looking to move across the country. COVID's got you bottled up somewhere you don't want to be. Maybe your boss sucks. Someone just said that yesterday, like, I want a new one. Very understandable. Most of us have been there, unfortunately. Tech stack, maybe you're working on something a little more antiquated, and you're hoping to get into something a little more cutting edge. Or you're just bored with it. So whatever it is, interested to hear what it is you're looking for. We've got Terry's looking for catch on with Rails shop or a Linux job. We've got Tatiana is looking for a job. John looking for remote work and a higher salary. Now's a good time to be looking for remote work. Coincidentally, Wiley is looking for remote with reasonable work hours as well. Morgan, entry-level Java, so looking to get their start, it sounds like. Shirley's a job where I'm not stuck on the front end, so looking to do something a little more across the stack. Matthew, career change into entry-level IT role. So we got 2 folks here looking for sort of getting started. Khalid's looking for a way better job, so definitely not happy with where they're at. Austin's also looking for the first career change. So they've got three folks here looking to get started in the software engineering. We've got Tung's a new grad, Jyoti's entry level as well. So we got a bunch of unusually high number of entry level folks here. Vanessa's looking for remote work with a life balance. So sounds like we got probably like 40% of folks are entry level. We've got other people at various stages of their. In fact, real quick, I'd just be curious, how many years of experience do you have writing software? You just punch in a number into the chat. Be interested to see where people are at on that. We got 0 to 1 for Wiley, 9 for John, 2 for Shirley. 1 year is professional for Vanessa, 0 for Jody, 0 to 1 for Jody. Matthew's just getting started. Khalid's at 7. So we got some folks on the pushing the decade mark. We've got some other folks in the beginning. Morgan, 4+, but not professionally. Okay, so interesting donut here. You've got experienced folks. We've got the in between, or the early folks, but nobody in between. Usually the in between is where the most people are. So interesting how these things sometimes are. So Terry's been doing it 3 years. All right, so second question, what strategies are you using to attain that career priority? So again, just a couple words or a sentence, doesn't have to be anything too intense. HackerRank, LeetCode, Code Wars, the competitive programming platforms. Maybe working for the interview prep platforms, Pramp, Interview Cake, Interviewing.io. Maybe you're working through Udemy or Coursera or YouTube. Sort of the education platforms. Maybe you're working through that nice, easy reading, Cracking the Coding interview book that we all love to just brush up on a Sunday morning and enjoy our time. working through those wonderful pages, practicing with friends. Maybe you're working on building your portfolio projects, or maybe you're just networking with friends and you're just diving right in. Um, any of these are personally perfectly reasonable things to pursue. So we've got Lead Code for Khalid, and CLRS for now. I don't know what CLRS is. I feel like I should know that. Udemy, Linda and Treehouse, so the education platforms there. Morgan's on online program exercises, Udemy, personal projects. Vanessa's personal projects, writing a blog post. Nice. So get some recognition there. Cracking the coding interview for Tong, along with mock interviews, YouTube practice. Linda for Shirley, just actively interviewing. Austin's Udemy, career services, personal projects. John's obtaining certifications. Always good to do. We can add some credentials there. Matthew, Java, massive online classes. Jody's hacker rank. We've got interviewing. Oh, Shirley already mentioned that. Khalid's Introduction to Algorithms book. Yeah, is that what I'm thinking that book is? The CLRS. Yeah, that's what I thought. And talking with recruiters, John Crossland. Okay, cool. All right. Well, again, last question here. Then we'll move into the program overview. Just one more entry into the chat here. Are you getting responses? How are these strategies working for you? Are you satisfied with the outcomes you're getting? We've got people here of all different backgrounds, all different stages. So, are you getting responses to the applications you're submitting? Are those applications then translating into interviews? Are you feeling confident that you're going to be able to translate those interviews into the offers that you're seeking? Maybe your speed is more of the priority for you, so you're looking to move quickly. Got to get an offer. Are you getting offers? We have people who come in the program; they're already getting offers, and they're just like, "I'm not getting the offers I want. I want a top tech company, or I want a this or a that." So maybe you're in one of those positions, or maybe you're just getting stuck somewhere. Maybe you've been in your same job for 5 years. I didn't see anybody here with more than 10 years of experience, but maybe you've been in the same job for half a decade now, and you're like, I don't even remember how to do the job search. I'm rusty. I haven't been coding that much because I'm more on the senior end of the team, something like that. There's a lot of reasons you might be getting stuck. So would love to hear where you're at. Let's see. So we've got John's talking to recruit. I think he mentioned that at the end. Terry's chasing her tail. Vanessa, yes and no. Need more technical experience. Terry's thwarted by the ATS. Right. Those automated systems are always kind to us. Shirley, a cycle of take home. So just getting stuck in kind of the take home work. Tongues, intro coding challenges, but no further yet. Austin's starting to get some, but only the first couple rounds of interviews. So getting the start, but can't translate those into the later on-site stages. Morgan, on and off interviews, no offers yet. Matthew, just starting, trying to figure out the best path. Smart, try to measure twice, cut once kind of thing. And John, not really getting past the recruiter levels, right? Just trying to present yourself in as attractive a manner as as attractive a fashion as possible. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for participating. Hopefully everybody here has a better idea of who else is here, what everybody's looking for. Again, a bit unusual in terms of this donut. There was nobody in sort of the like 3 to 5 years of experience range. Usually that's where most of people are. Then they're looking to sort of level up into either the senior role. We've got a bunch of senior people looking to get out of their current role that they've usually been in for longer than they want to be. So anyway, we'll dive into the program overview now. Any questions that you have, feel free to pop them into the chat. No worries, I'll answer them at the end. I'm not going to break my cadence because there's a lot I'm going to try to cram in here in a relatively short amount of time. So you're here looking at a program that has demonstrated success. We've been around for over 5 years, over half a decade now, and not something we're new to. We've been doing this for a long time. You can check us out. On Yelp, we've got overwhelmingly 5-star reviews on Yelp. I know Yelp might seem like a little bit of a strange place for us to get our reviews, but we started off on site in San Francisco 5 years ago. That's where people just kind of naturally started leaving us reviews. And now that we're fully online, it feels a little weird, but that's still where people tend to leave the reviews. Our success is dependent upon your success. So something that really differentiates us from most other programs, we put our money where our mouth is. If you don't get an offer that you want and accept within a year, you don't pay anything. 2 out of our 3 payment options are explicitly, we don't even take any or much money up front, so that we're really completely out there putting our money where our mouth is. And if you don't get a job that you want and accept, we don't get paid. That's the way it's set up. I think that's why one of the reasons we have such overwhelmingly positive reviews is because we don't only just hold you accountable, we hold ourselves accountable to your positive outcome. Um, Over the past 5 years, we've worked with over 2,000 software engineers of all different backgrounds. We had senior level, mid-level, junior level, pretty much any type of engineer, you name it. Last night in the info session, we had someone who was at Amazon looking to get out of Amazon. I know that might sound contradictory to most people. They're like, I want to get into one of those companies. We consistently have people coming from those companies looking to sort of uh, leverage that to really take themselves to the next level. We had the senior engineer from, or excuse me, the lead engineer from the Siri team come through not long ago. He helped build Siri from the ground up, and we were able to help him significantly leverage that for his benefit. And we have directors of engineering all the way down to new grads, and everything in between. All different types of engineers, front end, back end, embedded systems engineers, DevOps, QA, the whole data science sort of machine learning AI realm. You name it. If you're writing code, we've worked with engineers like you. And that's really the point here, is that no matter what situation you find yourself in, no matter what kind of background you have, we've worked with probably at least a couple, if not dozens, maybe even hundreds of engineers in relatively similar situations to the one that you're in right now. So keep that in mind as we're going through that we've worked with engineers very similar to you. The purpose of the program at the end of the day is to help you get more offers. We believe with more offers comes choice. It's something we've actually thoroughly proven at this point to ourselves. And you're going to be happier if you're able to pick a job based on a couple that make you offers versus just one, and you're like, well, I need something and I'm sick of where I'm at, or I need to pay the bills. So we want you to help you be able to have that choice. And it's not just about getting more offers, it's about then maximizing the value of every offer. So with our negotiation support, your performance on these interviews will help you get the maximum return on your investment on the job search. Also about optimizing your time. If we can help you shave off a couple weeks, certainly a couple months, especially if you're someone who's in between jobs right now, that can mean thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars if we help you knock off months off of your job search. And if you're underemployed or underpaid or just unhappy, I don't know how you want to put a measurement on that for your time, but a lot of value to be had there. And it's not just about connecting you to that next stage. It's really easy to focus on, well, what's my next offer going to be? But if we can help you get that next offer either at a higher salary or a better title, a better company, that influences the next series of points that you jump to after that, and ultimately increases the overall trajectory or slope of your career. And that delta, that the value delta we help you create now, just grows and grows over time to maybe, who knows, tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. This is also a program that you get for life. So we work to help maximize that delta over the course of your career. So I'll talk more all about that, the life thing and everything else, as we continue to move forward. So most of this is going to now be focused on how we help you do those things and how we've gotten to where we are as a program. In a very tight nutshell, to start with, it's a highly structured, intensive 4-week program designed to slingshot you up to your maximum potential for your interviews. And then the plus denotes the part of the program that continues in perpetuity thereafter, as long as you need it to maintain or continue to help bump you up, however much more you have, and then just maintain that top performance until you get the offers or offer that you're looking for. It includes unlimited support in the form of our staff being here for you. You can do one-on-one coaching sessions. Again, I'll get more into the details on these bits in a bit here, but in just that nutshell, just wanted to get that established, and then we'll be using this framework for discussing the program, because this is sort of how the program's structured. It's structured after the job search process, which is, typically you apply using your resume, then you get a phone screen of some sort with a recruiter, then you have some sort of technical component, maybe it's a tech screen, then an onsite or several onsites or some mishmash of both, but we'll just call that the onsite, then offers, which leads you to the opportunity to negotiate. So we'll be using this framework moving forward to discuss the details of the program. The onsite part of the program, it's the technical skills. It's what most engineers want to focus on. It's what most engineers do need to focus on. There is a little bit of a caveat to that, but it's where 75% of the program is focused. At a high level, it's going to involve 30 plus guided mock interviews with feedback. I'll be diving into more about what that means. Time and space complexity, establishing a very firm foundation for you in that most interviews you're going to be getting, the ones that don't have like the domain focus on them. So like, whatever framework you're using or language or whatever, the on-site, they're going to be the on-site technical and technical interviews. They're going to be looking for you to write performant code, and they're going to be doing that using data structures, algorithms, types of problems. They want to make sure you've got like the engineering fundamentals down. And so you're not writing non-performant code, slowing down whatever it is that they're doing. For the more senior folks, the system design, architectural principles of software tend to get interviewed on, and that tends to be how they decide sort of how senior you are. So that can be something that really helps, getting the maximum potential out of your interviews. So that those system design components are definitely important, and we train on that as well. And we do all of this. Now, I shouldn't say all of this, but a good tool that we use here is whiteboarding. It's something that you also will see in the interview process. Even yes, during COVID, you might be doing like virtual whiteboarding. So it's definitely it's a great learning tool. It's also a tool that's really important to get a good grip on, ideally to master for your interviews. And we'll talk about how diagramming and those types of things could be powerful for you as well. But we'll get started here. I'm sorry, we're not getting started here. Then there's the remaining 25% of the program, which encapsulates the majority in terms of time and steps of the job search process, but we only allocate about 25%. It's the career skills, knowing your value right up front. I know that might sound a little cheesy, but actually the recruiters are trained in the very first conversation they have with you to try to get you to, into as tight of a box salary wise as possible, which can make it impossible for you to negotiate at the end. So there's things that we train you on that right off the bat open up your doors to maximum value on the back end. Confidence, communication. This is sort of your general limiting factor. This is the thing I was talking about. The caveat to the technical piece is mattering most. If you're not confident, you can totally sabotage or self-destruct in an interview. As I give you an example, we had someone who was in the top 1% of HackerRank come through our program. So ostensibly, one of the best competitive programmers or software engineers out there, depending on how seriously you take HackerRank. And he was an experienced guy, could get interviews anywhere he wanted, was getting interviews at all the top tech companies, and could not translate those interviews into offers. And he had no idea what was going on. Came through the program, and we pretty quickly assessed, oh, this isn't a technical issue. For the there's a little bit, but for the most part, it's confidence, communication. He'd walk into an interview and either not communicate what he was doing, so he'd solve the problem. The interviewer would say, I have no idea how you did that, or I don't even understand what you're doing right now. Again, not communicating. Or the interviewer would push back or start to ask questions, and he'd get kind of nervous and start to second guess himself and kind of implode and not get the question at all. So after going through the program, he got offers at Facebook and LinkedIn. He's now at Facebook, actually, still. So confidence, communication makes a really, really big difference. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. That can be your limiting factor, and certainly the combination with that, with tech, the technical skills can really, really elevate you. Negotiation. I'll dive more into the negotiation towards the end here. Obviously, part of the career skills structure. I'm sure all of you've seen how many different resources people are using here. There's an ocean of resources out there that you could use. No shortage of resources there, but there's a total lack of structure. How to prioritize, especially in an continuously evolving market, what to prioritize, how to and then not only what to prioritize, but then how to go through those priorities. So the structure of the program tends to help people a lot. And it all starts with the resume at the application phase. Resume actually matters a lot more than anybody here probably thinks it does. So I'm going to start off with the resumes. I know you're probably thinking, I don't want to have to think about that. I hate resumes. So just give me a second here. Let's explain why your resume matters. And we really invest in it right off the bat. We do a total resume overhaul for these reasons. First of all, your resume, it's your first gate. You're not going to pass onto the phone screen if you don't have a resume that's relevant. You're probably at least subconsciously aware of the fact that this is a standalone skill set, hinted to you when you're pulling your hair out trying to update your resume, and you're sitting there saying how much you hate updating your resume. It's a standalone skill set, and when you don't use a skill, it atrophies. The resume skill set is pretty much permanently atrophied for most people. But not for us, for whatever that says about us. But here's the most important thing: is your resume actually matters at every single stage of the interview process. So at the phone screen level, at the on-site, every single stage, you're competing against other software engineers, and they're comparing you against what your resume looks like against the other engineers who also got the problems, right? You're not going to be the only one who solves the problems in a optimized fashion, and they're going to be comparing you against your resume against theirs. So typically, we can help people honestly like pretty significantly, like 2 to 10x their resume. So if we can make you stand out just that much more, we think of your resume as your silent advocate as you're moving through the interview process. And if it could be screaming your praises and really making you stand out relative to other people, that might be the thing that pushes you, from to an onsite, or from an onsite to an offer, maybe even from an offer to, being able to negotiate for a nice signing bonus, $10,000, $20,000 signing bonus, because they think, wow, this person, I look at resumes all day. This one really stands out. Yeah, we should make this person a offer for a signing bonus. So at the bare minimum, it's designed to get you then to the phone screen. We aim to have 100% hit rate on. There's no reason, if you get to a phone screen, that you shouldn't be moving to the next stage. The recruiters already looked at your resume and said, I think this person can work here. So in the phone screen, there's nothing that you should be able to say that's going to hold you back from moving on to that next stage. So it's your second gate. You're not moving on without it. You know that. It's a standalone skill set. You might even be subconsciously aware of this. You might think, this arbitrary step that I got to go through and just talk to this recruiter. Why do I got to do this? Well, the skill set you're being tested on there effectively is sales. You're being asked to identify, the skills that a company is looking for, the experience points that a company is looking for, the cultural values that a company espouses at least to have, and maybe some X factors like Google. They like look for googliness, like things like that. And what we teach you to do is identify the skill sets that most relevant from you for what they're doing, the the experience points that they're looking for that are again most relevant from yours, the cultural values, what your cultural values are and how they align with theirs, and same thing with the X factors. And the idea is to help create a firm fit in the mind of the interviewer, that you're the right fit for that job. The idea is we want them to have an image of you in their brain working at their company and fitting in. Their notes will reflect that and actually apply then to every single stage of the interview process thereafter. So those notes, those phone screen notes, do follow you to every stage. You might again pass the onsite, the other person passed, the other couple people passed the onsite, and you're the person who got good reviews from the recruiter, and that's what moves you on to an offer. So again, all these pieces really matter, which brings us to the onsite. So progressing to the next stage, the onsite. So again, this is where most people tend to get nervous or fail out. It's your final gate. You're not getting an offer without it. It's a standalone skill set. At this point, you're probably aware of that. And it's the most difficult skill set to master. You not only have to know your coding, your CS fundamentals, you got to solve these sort of esoteric questions in this, unfamiliar coding environment in real time with, these high stakes. Usually you're not solving things in real time with high stakes unless you push something to production that wasn't supposed to get pushed to production yet. So, not the typical environment that you're accustomed to working in. And honestly, it kind of sets you up for failure. So that's what the program is designed to do. Again, the intensive 4-week part of the program is designed to boost you to your maximum performance. We do this with classes for the 4 weeks, running Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. PST. So it's designed for folks with full-time jobs already. Been doing this for 5 years. You can either join the PST class or the EST class, whichever time zone works better for you. Doesn't matter where you are. Again, 30 plus guided mock interviews. The idea is like you're getting reps at a gym. You get stronger at a gym by going there and busting out reps with iron. You get stronger at doing interviews by coming to Outco and doing reps with mock interviews. It's we have what we call a reverse, or excuse me, a flipped classroom model here in the education circles. We started off with a traditional classroom model, which is you come in, you get lectured to, maybe you learn some stuff, maybe you get a little bit of practice at the end, and then you go home and do the homework. Over time, we realized the more practice you get with our coaches, by far the better off you do. So what we aim to do is get you maximum time with our coaches by doing a flipped classroom, which is you watch the lectures at home. We record our own lecture material. We're constantly updating it based on what we're seeing in the marketplace. And you do the learning at home, you do some homework, you come in, you get a quick overview with our coaches, and then boom, you're getting off to the races, getting the reps in with the mock interviews with your classmates and with the coaches. And the idea is that you're getting that tight feedback loop. So we have a saying here: it's not practice that makes perfect; it's perfect practice makes perfect. We want you, it's not, it's one thing to practice, and you're practicing not quite the right way, or not with the right, intentions in mind, or whatever it is. We want you to be practicing the right thing, the right way, at the right time, that's relevant for your job search. And that's why we believe the perfect practice makes perfect. And with the coaching giving you real-time feedback, it's really tightening up that feedback loop that you get. So it's not like you got to go home, you kind of start to learn it, and then you kind of forget it. And by the time you come into class, it's this long loop of learning that may, create some missing data points, as it were, in your brain. With the real-time feedback, really tight feedback loops, and really tight learning going on. So the post 4 weeks, this part of the program you get for life, forever. You can come back as many times as you want. You get everything we're going to list out here, probably some other things that I'm not for remembering. It's 5 days per week. So after the core 4 weeks, it's 5 days. They're optional, but we encourage you to attend, all of them. They're structured classes. Career classes, again, those non-technical pieces on Monday and Wednesday. Remember the importance of confidence, and planning, and those types of things, organizing your day, managing your time, those types of things. So we have those days, Mondays and Wednesdays. Algorithm classes on Tuesdays. We have system design classes on Thursdays, and we have what we call the tech level up classes on Fridays. These are the classes where we're really looking to stretch you and take you to a concept that you may not see in many interviews, but you never know, especially if you're a more senior engineer or going for something that's stretching your limits. They might throw one of these types of questions at you, and this might be the thing that they decide whether or not to put you in, as slot you into something a little more mid-level or something more senior. And always you'll be learning concepts that are applicable to other problems, and pattern matching as well. 6 office hours per week, 2 Monday, 2 Wednesday, 2 Thursday. You can always drop into those. They're there for you to work with other outcoders, or the coaches that are there. You can always book one-on-one coaching time as well if you need it. Resume guidance update. So 2 years from now, you're ready to start your job search again. You want to get something even better, come back, we'll update your resume, give you the classes. You'll always have access to the online material that's going through our 4 week program. So that's always there for you as well, and we'll always be able to help you negotiate up on salary. And stay tuned for a little bit more about salary negotiation here in just a second. Real quick, the content that we cover for the on-site part of the program, the technical part of the program, again, that firm foundation of time and space complexity. You'll be covering recursion as well. You may have never used it and you may never use it in your software engineering career. It is something that you get interviewed on. And for the guest class that you'll be visitor class that you can sign up for, we'll actually be working through a dynamic programming problem that uses recursion as an optimization technique. So stay tuned for signing up for that. The data structures, sorts that you'll be getting in interviews. The idea again is ideally you can open up the hood on what you're doing and explain what's going on under the hood from sort of a CS standpoint. They might ask you to sort some data set, and you say, well, I'll use a quick sort. And they say, well, why quick sort? Why not merge sort? And you can lift up the hood and say, well, here's how quick sort works versus merge sort. And given the parameters of the problem you gave me, this is why I choose that. And then boom, you're insta qualified in their mind, because you actually know what you're talking about. It's not just sort of some library DFS kind of thing. You know what's going on there. So these are just some of the examples of some of the pieces. I'm not going to go into the details, and there's a lot more that we cover. Just some examples there. System design, architecture. Again, these are pieces that especially the more senior engineers tend to get grilled on. System design, scaling, object-oriented design, system diagramming. You might be able to explain, or you might know actually what the priority should be for when you're designing a system, but being able to diagram it out is actually a really important part for helping the other person understand what it is that you're doing. That applies to every interview problem as well, which is again why we incorporate the whiteboard so heavily and teach you things like ASCII diagramming and help you master that, so you can visualize the problem as you're solving. Again, dynamic programming, we'll be covering that in the visitor class tonight, but also in the class, optimization techniques, memoization, tabulation, some others. So which brings us to the end of this thing, and the info session, as well as the interview process, the info offers and negotiation. So this part of the program, typically we can help you get a bump of 5 to 15% on the base salary after you get an offer. So you get an offer, you come to us and say, hey, Outco, I got this offer. I'm excited. What do I do now? We've already taught you what to do, but we can support you further and give you more detailed steps here. And we can usually help you increase the base salary of that offer by 5 to 15%. So that one little interaction right there often more than pays for the program. We can help you negotiate then for signing bonuses anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 is sort of our general range. We've had people go as high as $88,000 just for signing an agreement. Substantial equity compensation, stock options. We had someone go through the program who's just 2 years out of a boot camp, get almost a 400K total comp. They had a really nice stock option plan for a company that's just about to go public. If they aren't going public right now, actually. Moving stipends, maybe you're moving across the country, we can help you get that paid for. Accelerated performance reviews so that you can, get a raise even earlier. Lots of ways we can help you negotiate for additional value at this stage that can pay for the program, multiples of times over, especially when factored in over the course of several years. And not to mention, you're probably going to be getting offers you wouldn't have gotten without Outco, and you'll probably be getting those offers faster than you would have gotten without Outco. So a lot of value in the program that we offer here. At this point, we usually have people asking, so like, what do I do now? How do I find out more? So again, sign up for the visitor class. I strongly recommend that. We'll be doing that in just a moment here. Just want to get through these couple steps. Strongly also encourage you to apply. As you see, we're trying to add value at every single stage you're checking us out. Full disclosure, it's good business for us. If we give you a good experience and you say, oh, no, thanks, maybe you'll recommend somebody else to us who you think might value the program as well. So we're trying to add value to you at every single stage. And if you decide Outco's not for you, that's totally fine. You're never obligated for anything you get from Outco until you actually sign something, an agreement with us. So don't worry, there's never any obligation here. For the application, there's two real value points. First, you do a background review. We just make sure you're a software engineer, but the value is in the fundamentals check. And what we're doing there is making sure that you have the basics of your language down. So whatever language, yeah. And John, I'll be getting to that in just a second. Let me know if you can stick with me here for just literally like 30 more seconds. The free value, the fundamentals check, you again, just making sure you've got the fundamentals down of whatever language it is that you're using. The intention is to just make sure that you get value at every single moment that you're in the program. So if you don't pass the fundamentals check, that's okay. We had someone who had to retake it 4 times. You might think, well, they must have really struggled in the program. They actually ended up getting an offer from Google. So it doesn't mean you're not going to do well. At the bare minimum, if you take the fundamentals check and you don't pass, that you're not going to be ready for other interviews. So if nothing else, it can serve as a benchmark for you to see what you're ready for. So I'd encourage you to do that. Also, our career advisor that you'd be speaking to during the application process is a former recruiter from Amazon. She's really knowledgeable in the space. You can set up a phone call with her, and again, no obligation, but more value to be had there. I don't know why my slides aren't advancing now. There we go. There's no commitment or cost to doing that. You can check out our reviews on Yelp. Again, overwhelmingly 5 stars there. I'm going to actually cut short I'll answer the 3 common questions. I know we got folks who are, on lunch or looking to maybe sign up for the visitor class, and I don't want anybody to miss out. So for the visitor class, actually, I'm going to just go through this as fast as I can. If you want to do the visitor class, I'll come back to those 3 questions here in just a second. So just want to get the folks signed up if you want. We've got one tonight, or I guess that's this afternoon. I know it's getting dark earlier. I thought of that as tonight. It's at 4 p.m. PST. So that's in about 6 hours from now. And we have another one next Tuesday at 7 p.m. PST. So if you want to sign up for one of these, just pop it into the chat. You can either just say tonight for tonight, or I'll just say today or tonight for today. And then if you want Tuesday, that's next Tuesday, just put in Tuesday into the chat here. So we've got John would like tonight, Eric would like today as well, Terry would like tonight, Vanessa would like tonight, a lot of folks for tonight, Shirley for tonight. Again, keep in mind that the next class starts next Monday. So if you're like thinking maybe, you might want to join, and especially on the earlier side, the next class does start next Monday. It's the Eastern time zone class. So it's 6 to 9 Eastern time. Just keep that in mind as well. But again, whatever you want, we've got John for tonight, Eric for tonight, Terry for tonight, Vanessa for tonight, Shirley for tonight, Hunter for tonight, lots of folks for tonight. Glad to see so many folks are interested in the on the Sooner side. Bill Kwok would also like tonight. Bill, I think I remember you as an applicant, if I'm not mistaken. So glad to have you join in the visitor class as well. And all right, if there's anybody else, feel free to pop it into the chat. Again, if you're consulting your your calendar. And before I forget, yes, even for those of you who signed up for tonight, please do me a favor and put this in your calendar. Every single visitor class, we have people who forget. Um, and don't show up and frantically message us, hey, can I still get in? I completely forgot. Add it to your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, write a post-it note, stick it on your forehead if you have to, whatever you got to do to not forget. People forget all the time. Unfortunately, Matthew, at this time we only do have Tuesday and Wednesday. If you can't make those, let me know. I can try to potentially work out something else with you. Usually one of those 2 days work, but if not, let me know. We should be able to figure something out for you. Let's see. Wiley would like Tuesday, and Matthew would like. Matthew, you're good for Tuesday as well. Cool. All right. So we'll see you then on Tuesday. And John, yep, I'm going to go back to the questions right now. Tung would like tonight as well. I think that's pretty much everybody has signed up for the visitor class. I don't know if like Minas or Morgan. I think you might be two of the only folks who didn't. But no pressure at all. All right. So let me go back to those questions. So when we started the program, we started with wanting a mixed accountability. So like you're accountable to us, we're accountable to you. The idea is both parties have skin in the game. At $1,500, there's no way we can keep the lights on in this company. So the $1,500 is designed, you put skin in the game. The 5% is the big incentive for us. If you don't get an offer that you want, and the 1,500 is refundable, by the way, if you don't end up getting an offer. But the 5%, it helps us be incentivized to expedite and help you get the offer that you want, that you accept as fast as possible. Again, you're never forced to accept an offer that you don't want, or even pressured for that matter. We had someone get 14 offers before they accepted their 12th offer. And within the first 5, it was like Square and some other big companies. And we're just like, how aren't you accepting any of these? We didn't say that to him. But anyway, so the 5%, it's only billed after you've accepted an offer. It's 30 days after your start date is when the first bill comes in. So you're not, you've already got a couple paychecks coming in from your new job. It's a manageable payment model. It's divided into 3 different installments. So, the 5% divided by 3, 1 installment per month for 3 months. Again, 30 days starting after your start date. So very manageable there. The next payment option, $0 and 10%. I know some of you might be thinking, well, 10% is a lot. Well, yeah, it is. But at the same time, the median salary increase through the program is 37%. So, I don't know about you. I'd be happy to pay 10% of my salary right now to get 37% back. But that being said, when we first started, we had people saying, I don't want to pay $1,500. I don't know anything about Outco. You haven't been around hardly at all. So we said, okay, well, we'll really put our money where our mouth is and do the 0 and 10. That also opened the doors for a lot of folks financially. So sort of two reasons to do it there. And the 10%, same thing like the 5%. It's only the first year salary for both of them. So you get a signing bonus of some huge amount. We don't touch that. You get an equity plan. We're not even going to try to like value equity and all that stuff. It's just the base salary just for that first year. And the 10% is billed over 6 installments instead of 3. So 6 months of payments instead of 3 months. Again, very manageable payment model for you here. And then the last option, $5,000 upfront. So we had folks, about a year into our existence, who were saying, can I just take all the risk on myself? I got a friend who went through Outco. They had a great experience. Can I just pay it all upfront, de-risk it for you, and then pay a little less overall? So we developed that $5,000 option. The first 2 account for about 3/4 of our revenue. So we're still extremely incentivized to help everyone get the job as fast as possible. We don't track which payment plan you're on. So if you're on the $5,000 plan, you don't have to worry about us saying, oh, this person's on the $5,000 plan. We already got their money. Don't give them any support. We don't track it. Honestly, it'd be a nightmare to even try to do that. It'd probably end up costing us more trying to throttle people's support based on their payment plan. So so that's that. Second question we often get is what, and actually I'm only going to go through 2 questions because the third one's kind of irrelevant. You'll see why in a sec. But the second question, what if I get an offer, before I get, I sign and then I get an offer like on the first day or the second day? Am I going to owe 10% of my salary or this $5,000 or whatever payment plan I'm on? The answer is no, definitely not. We work with everybody in a case by case basis. Almost I'd say almost 100% of the time, if you get an offer in the first 2 days of the program, you're not paying anything. We give you your money back, or whatever, because obviously we didn't have anything to do with that. And from there, 3, 4 days, depends on how much coaching or whatever you've taken. And then from there, it really starts to get more on like a what's it called, prorated basis. And we try to do it in a way that both parties feel is agreeable. If you don't feel like we helped you at all and you did your onsite completely before the program, then odds are we're not going to charge you much of anything. But usually we're able to work with people, and they usually give an honest assessment of how much they feel like we helped, and we can agree to some sort of payment option there. And I think that's why we have overwhelmingly 5-star reviews. I think if people weren't getting help and we charged them anyway, they'd probably be pretty pissed. I don't know if you've ever used Yelp before, but people get slightly overdone $4 eggs and they leave a 1-star review. I think if people were paying $5,000, they'd be pretty enraged if they didn't feel like they got $5,000 in value. So can I attend online? This problem this is no longer valid, so I'm not even going to bother because we're all online thanks to COVID. So there's the visitor class again. Punch it into the chat, and again, I'm happy to open up to Q&A now and answer any and all questions you have. I'll scroll up to the top of the chat, make sure I don't miss anything from earlier, and I'll just work my way down to the bottom. And if you have anything you want to add in, feel free. If you want to unmute yourself, feel free as well. And I can answer a question verbally. I'm going to be answering them all verbally, but if you want to ask it verbally. John asked, how quickly do people generally get offers? Good question. Our average time to offer is shoot, I should know. It's like 33 days. I think it's 33, 31, 32, somewhere in there. After the program, the 4-week ends. That might sound like really fast to you. Some people that sounds really long, which always kind of surprises me. But especially if you know the space, especially after COVID, I was just reading a recruiting research firm put out that the average job search time is a bare minimum of 6 months. 6 months, 6 weeks right now, which is significantly longer than it is, and that's across. It's not just for engineers. So anyway, 33 days. The half-life of a class is about the same, 30. It's not the same number. It's like 31 days. So every 30 days ish, your class, half the people in it have gotten offers. 30 days after that, the half remaining who didn't now have offer. Half of the half have offers. So 50%, 75%, 87%. 30 30 30 days. And keep in mind that we have people of, again, all different backgrounds, people with visa things that are kind of constraining their job search. We have people who only want to get into Google or Facebook or this or that, and they'll stay in the program just dedicated until they're ready to get that interview with that company. And they're not really optimizing for time, they're optimizing for a particular place. So yes, there's this average time to job. Is it the most useful metric? I'm not sure. I always hesitate to say it just because we have such a variety of people coming through the program. It can really differ depending on the person's priorities. So let me know if that answered your question, John. It's good question. Let's see. Glad your boss hasn't, or I don't think your boss has called you. I guess I'm going back in time here. Can you go back to the questions? Yep, I did that. Is it Tuesday and Wednesday only? I answered that. I'm working evenings, so I'm going to have questions about that. Okay, Morgan, we can probably work with you on that. If you want, stick around until the very end. I can dive into specific pieces with you on that. It's not an uncommon problem that our engineers have coming into our program. Especially like DevOps people who are on call or something like that. Not a big deal. Hopefully not a big deal. We should be able to hopefully work something out. Austin had a good session. He left. How much have your plans prices changed over the years? The 5,000 was the 5,000 after a year. I think we did start. Yeah, we started at. I think the very first couple classes we had, it was like $500 and 3%. But there was just like 4 of us in the company, and none of us were taking a salary. So we could afford to have the prices be that low. Otherwise, they've been pretty much the same. And actually, to be truthful with you, we're probably going to have to be raising prices here soon. Just for a variety of reasons. But they've been pretty static for at least 3 years. So we're pretty honestly pretty overdue for a price raise here. Just by the nature of our program's gotten much more sophisticated, much more support that we offer. And I know that that's coming in the next couple months here. Um, John, is the visitor class on the same link? Secretly, yes, it is. Don't tell anybody, but yes, it is. We discovered that's just for operational simplicity. It is. So you can use the same link. We'll email you the link as well. So don't worry, you'll get that here in the next hour or two. Same link to hop into the visitor class. Eric, what content does the visitor class cover? Does it vary? We're usually pretty consistent on the problem, just because we have different events going on and we're trying not to overlap content with different events. So this one tends to be the dynamic programming problem. It's sort of the best visitor experience we can get without getting people to pair up and do exercises and that kind of thing. We try to kind of imitate it. But otherwise, yeah, the visitor class is pretty consistent. So if you want to go to multiple ones, you can. We're probably going to cover the same problem or the same type of problem. It'll be dynamic programming. It might not be the exact same problem, but it'll probably be something pretty similar. John answered your question. Morgan, Thursday, Friday, I don't work. Monday, Wednesday. Okay, Morgan, we'll jump into that. I want to make sure I'm answering questions that might apply to everybody, and it sounds like yours is probably pretty specific to you. I'm happy to get to it. I just want to make sure I get questions for the whole group while we're all together. So don't worry. Shirley, can I unmute myself and ask a question? Yeah, please. No worries.
So I think one of the main issues, with the current COVID environment that I see right now that really kind of applies to me is that um, I'm getting interviewed for positions that are more senior than I'm capable of, even though mainly applying to, mid-level jobs.
Okay.
So, with your program, like it's impossible. I've only have almost about 2 years of experience. Like senior,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say is 5 years experience. You can't
Mm-hmm.
gain 3 years of experience in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's more geared towards like because of the current environment, like this is a problem that's been created. I feel like I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but is the program still, appropriate?
Helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a problem I'll tell you what drove that. It's the boot camp industry has driven a lot of companies don't even list anything less than senior engineers on their engineering roles on their website because the boot camp industry started churning out this massive number of junior engineers, and it just kind of flooded the marketplace with. And your inbox as a recruiter, your inbox would just be like inundated with dozens of people that all did the exact same projects, that all have 9 weeks of experience or however long the boot camp was. So a lot of companies now list senior and they'll list that number of years. We teach you how to sort of identify which companies that's true for, and how to sort of break down the barrier and say like, yeah, I might not have the 5 years, but I'm actually still qualified. They do that as just sort of like a cheap screening method.
I am a boot camp grad, but like 2 years ago.
You are? Yeah. So no worries. Like I said, we had that boot camp grad come through not that long ago who ended up getting a 400K, almost 400K total comp offer. Had no engineering background before. He was a photographer actually, and I don't mean like a scientific photographer, just like free, just doing photography. So, you can definitely do well. We had another boot camp grad come through who was a comedian before he went through his boot camp. Ended up getting a six-figure, $120,000 offer from oh dang it, Dropbox. And he had.
I am like getting senior level technicals is the issue that I'm seeing, which I
Yeah, and again, it's mostly a screening piece. Some companies are only looking for senior engineers, and right now, with COVID, with all the layoffs that happened, a lot of companies were able to scoop up a lot of engineers kind of on the cheap, that normally wouldn't have been on the market. That being said, we are seeing the tide shift on that, and hiring is actually, in terms of like our offer numbers internally, we're getting the most offers we've had. I'm not sure if ever, but definitely this year. Probably ever. I didn't look back far enough to see how it compares to previous years, but regardless, the market's good. And this is not a new problem, surely, that we've helped people work through. It's well before COVID, honestly, since like 2016. Really, it started in 2015, but it really took hold in 2015 when a bunch of different boot camps all spawned, and just hundreds and hundreds of these boot camps grads are getting churned out every single month. And they're all highly motivated to get a job because it's not deferred on debt. They usually paid it off on like a credit card or something. So they need
Okay.
a job fast.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Shirley. Good question. And thanks for unmuting. You're right. That would have been hard to write out. Bill Kwok, how many jobs we need to apply for each week during the 4-week program? How many jobs we need to apply for each week during the 4-week program? So if you're on one of the 2 deferred payment plans, that means we're not going to get paid until you get an offer that you accept. And good question, Bill. Thank you for asking it. So you're not going to get an offer until we're not going to get paid until you get an offer that you want and accept, which means you have to be interviewing, which means you have to be applying. And we have to have some way of ensuring that. So we do have a minimum of that we consider 25 apps per week. For some of you, that might sound like a lot, so don't lose your breath here. We're not doing it to inundate you. If you're someone who's like, I send out 5 apps and I get 3 interviews, great. We just want to make sure you have interviews actively in your pipeline. And ideally, we're trying to get it so you can time it so you get a couple offers all at the same time, which then you can negotiate and actually make the choice. If they're scattered out over time and you're like sending out a couple applications and seeing how those interviews play out, and then you get one offer, you missed out on a lot of potential there. So the idea is we're trying to give you as full of a pipeline as you can comfortably manage, hopefully get you more than one offer at the same time. And again, if you're not applying, it's hopeless. We'll never get paid, and we'll go out of business. We don't want that. We're not externally funded. We're dependent upon the success of our engineers. We teach you how to apply in a quick, efficient, effective manner. So don't worry if right now you're spending 45 minutes per app. We're going to teach you how to streamline that down to 5 minutes. And do so effectively. We teach you a couple different ways of applying, not just sort of through the general application funnel. Obviously, it's in our best interest for you to get as many interviews as possible, not just for maximizing the number of offers that you'll get, but also you get more practice with more interviews. There's nothing we could do if we had billions of dollars. Well, maybe if we had billions of dollars, but if we had, a lot more money than we have, and we could put together like some virtual, like super realistic environment, it's still not the same as you walking in and knowing there's a job on the line. I could be making a lot of money from this, or I could be, doing this dream thing, or have this logo on my resume, or whatever it is that's motivating you for it. There's no way we can fully replicate that. We try to, but at the end of the day, going out and doing interviews is going to get you that much better at interviewing. We teach you how to prioritize your interviews so that you have the ones you're less interested or less excited about early on, so that when you get into the ones you're most excited about, you've already got some interviews under your belt, ideally more than a few, and you're coming in there feeling much more confident. And the performance piece isn't going to make you nervous. It's just solving the problems and being fully present, and working through the methodologies we teach that are hopefully on autopilot at this point. If we can help put as much of the problem solving and the interview process on autopilot as you're there, you can focus on the things that are going to help you stand out, rather than shoot, what step do I do now? I don't remember. Ideally, again, with all the reps that you've been doing, as much of that's on autopilot as possible. Sorry, I'm going on. I can talk forever about all this stuff. So 25 apps. If you're on the $5,000 payment plan, we do offer you to take you off of what we call the accountability there, so you don't have to, but you do then remove yourself from the opportunity to get the money back guarantee kind of thing. So that the apps requirement kind of makes it so that we know you're going to actually be applying. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the program. So let me know, Bill, if that answered your question. Again, never the intention to overwhelm you. If you ever feel overwhelmed with the 25 apps, we'll work with you. It's not like we're just going to kick you out for not hitting some arbitrary number of applications. Vanessa, if we miss starting the program next week, when will the next EST class be offered? I think we only have 2 more this year classes. So the next one's EST, the one after that's PST, and I think the next one after that is going to be at the start of January 2020. Let's see, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of our website, here, I'll just share my screen here. Well, no, I won't. Sorry, that's going to be more complicated than I want it to be. But basically, just go to outco.io, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and our upcoming classes are there. The next EST class is January 4th, 2021. All right, where did the chat go? Let's see. So let me know, Vanessa, that's yours, and Bill as well, and everybody else. Please let me know I'm answering your questions. Khalid, I missed part of the session. Are we going to get a link to the review? If you mean if the review means the visitor class, yes, you'll get an email invite, and also it's the same link here. I guess I'll just start saying that now. It's the same link. Jig is up. You can join. You can join using this link. Let me know, Hunter. Was that Hunter? No, Khalid. Let me know if that answered your question. Hunter, how does Outco stand out from its competitors? More specifically, how is Outco better than Interview Kickstart? Good question. So, full disclosure, I've never been through Interview Kickstart, so I can't speak to it from that end. And I don't want to speak. First of all, I'm very biased, obviously. So I want that out there. Obviously, I think we're better. But give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull up a. Where did I post that? Oh yeah. I have a little bit of a guide here, or sort of, that you can use to check out. But basically, questions I'd ask are like, like, ask to sit in on a class, see what their class is like. Ask them, how easy is it to access coaching? How do they hire coaches? I know that they put a lot of emphasis on like having, top or coaches from top tech companies. I can tell you, we've hired engineers from top tech companies. We've had people that work here from Facebook, Google, Apple, Uber, Airbnb, right now, Spotify, Medium. Oh, we have another one right now. Which one? Some other tech company. I'm not remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I can tell you, if engineer works at a top tech company, it does not mean they're a good coach. It does not mean like a professional athlete playing whatever sport is not necessarily going to be someone who's a good coach to helping another professional athlete. You want coaches to coach you. You want the athlete, or the performance person, the person who's doing the performing, to be able to just focus on the performing. So just because you've been to a top tech company doesn't mean that that you are at a top tech company doesn't mean that you're necessarily a good coach. We call that a vanity metric. It's something that's also known in sort of more marketing spaces, vanity metrics. We try not to put emphasis on vanity metrics. We hire on how well they coach, and how coachable they are. Can we grow them into being even better coaches? The best coach probably we've ever had is someone who actually never worked as a software engineer, but you would never know it. I hope you go through the program and you meet him and try to guess which one hasn't had any software engineering experience. He's a monster of a coach. He can help you through any problem. He knows all the stuff. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean. And had we looked at him on paper and just purely gone off of his resume, he's the least impressive person on staff by far, and he's an incredible coach. So that's what we hire on. We hire and train on helping people identify their friction points in their job search and helping them overcome those friction points. That's basically what we do here. You can go watch videos on your own. You can go practice on your own. What we do is help you identify where you can improve, help you develop the confidence to then be able to maximize those improvements and perform on site. So I think just talking to the other competitors, there's multiple out there. Ask them about their philosophy. Ask them about their background. Read their reviews. Try to sit in on a class if you can. Honestly, I don't. This gets into a little bit of questionable territory, but look at the reviews and determine if you think they're all legitimate. We'll be happy to connect you with any review that you see on our website or on anywhere. If they have a name attached to it, we'll be happy to connect you with them. See if the competitors will offer you that as well. I think the thing that separates us is we really focus on being very, very hands-on. Other competitors tend to be focusing on how do we scale, and that kind of dilutes the whole process. So that's it in a nutshell. I wish I could get into more specifics. I haven't been through their program, so I can't say for certain. Give me one sec. I got a link here I can provide you. It's dated now, so uh, it's a bit dated now, but it's the basic information is still. Um, Shoot, I can't find the dang link. I thought I had it. Well, I'll provide the link at the end. I don't want to hold up answering other people's questions, so just give me. I'll work with you, Morgan, at the end, and then I'll also try to get this link for anybody who's interested. So let's see. Where were we? Hunter, Terry. Has the remote revolution increased or decreased the number of software jobs? If you mean like people getting remote jobs, like I said, we've had more offers in the past in October and so far in November than we'd ever had, or at least this year. I'm pretty sure it's the best performance we've had offers wise any year. So I'm not. I'm a little hesitant to say that's purely due to the remote, everyone going remote kind of thing, or a lot of people going remote. Um, uh, yeah, I will also say, just to add on real quick, yes, we're a fully remote program. We've been doing that for over 3.5 years. We started that 3.5 years ago. We were the first program to offer an online component, and we've been doing it the longest. And we had over half of our engineers were attending online anyway. So it was a very natural transition for us during COVID to go purely online. Matthew, this might be too broad. I came across you guys researching boot camps. Do you recommend doing a boot camp first? It seems like your program is too advanced for no experience. If so, where do you recommend we get start, eventually get a dev job? Excuse me. Matthew, what I would recommend actually, and I know this sounds, I know I sound like a biased hack perhaps, but if you apply to our program, we can look at it's hard to say without looking at your resume. I don't know what you've done. It sounds like if you're here, and based, I thought one of the questions you asked earlier was kind of indicative that maybe you'd had something. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'd recommend applying, or just what, you can also email me. Anyone here can feel free to email me directly. Actually, I'm going to first provide someone uh, to email. I'm not supposed to give out my email address anymore because I get my inbox gets kind of overloaded. But if you email Sheila and CC me, Sheila will make sure I get it. And I'll be happy to connect with you directly if I can be of more help. Might be able to offer you actually a little extra something, Matthew, just because of something else, just coincidentally that we have going on the side that might be helpful to you. But yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. One other place you might consider checking out real quick, if you're interested, is there's a person who went through our program who learned to program from Free Code Camp. So they never paid for their education. They ended up going through Free Code Camp, then went through Outco and ended up with a 6-figure job here in SF. And they were a route setter at a gym in Tennessee. And they talk about it in their whole blog post here. And it's how to get started in software engineering. So check that out. And I got to find that other link. But yeah, so I would recommend start. That could be an okay place to start. And again, Free Code Camp, it's hard to beat free out there. So can be an option if you're looking for something faster. Again, the thing. So real quick, if you do a boot camp or you're a fresh college grad, focus on projects that'll make you stand out from other boot camp grads, other college grads, because people coming out of those tend to have the same backgrounds, and it's really hard to differentiate yourself from the sort of like barrage of applications that those companies are definitely, I promise you, getting. So let me know, Matthew, if that's good enough to get you started there, and we can connect again more offline. John, what is the timeline on the money back guarantee? So 1 year. If you haven't gotten a job in 1 year, you can get the refund. We've had people, most of the time people, and this has only been a couple times, if you get to the 1 year mark, usually there's something else going on. I know I might be overgeneralizing here, but generally speaking, it's only going to apply. We've over 2,000 people. We've had like 3 to 5 maybe who made it to the 1 year mark. And usually there's something else going on that's dragging out their job search that's not either experience related, or it might be more of like a personality thing that's really hard to coach, or it's almost like like a therapy thing that's necessary. Um, and we do our best to support, but at the end of the day, we have our limitations as well. Um, but for instance, a good number of folks who have been in that situation, when I say a good number, I just mean the majority, have actually chose to stay on. We had someone once, it took 2 years to get an offer, and that is a tremendous amount of time. It was also their very first software engineering job, and they ended up getting $140,000 offer at a company most people here have probably heard of. And he's super happy. He had some personality quirks that were what were tripping him up from getting an offer that he wanted. um, so long story short, we'll stay with you as long as it takes. Even if you haven't gotten an offer after a year, if you want to stick with us, we stick with you. That's our commitment to you. All right, let's see. uh, and good question, John. Thank you for asking. Khalid, I meant this session. Oh, you want a recording of this? Yeah, if you want it, Khalid, just again, my email's out there. I'll paste it in one more time. Just ask me if you'd like the recording. I can work. We are recording this, so I'll get it and get it sent over to you. It'll be time bound, so don't worry. It won't be like floating around the internet with your face on it, or your name. Hunter, uh, Hunter's popping into the visitor class. Good to hear. Matthew, massive online classes right now, and a sophomore CS degree. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's connect after. Again, if you can send your resume, that really help clear things up, and I can help. It's a good time if you're still in the middle of your CS degree. I can definitely provide you with some recommendations of how to maximize the return on that, for sure. And happy to. Shirley's gonna join us tonight. Cool. Wiley, what was his education level? Are you referring to that coach who's amazing at our company, or was it somebody else that I was referring, or we were referring to that I don't? Oh, the guy from Quartz, the guy who did the he didn't have any engineering background, or at least I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he didn't. Um, you'd probably want to read his. Oh, okay. I'd gone to college as a pre-med student with degrees in biochemistry and anthropology. Became disenchanted with science and medicine and left college with no career path. So that was his background. So no engineering. Biochem, a science tends to lend itself better to engineering. It's still not an engineering degree. If you just come in with just a straight biomed and no program experience, you'll never get a dev job. So um, I know we'll teach you how to leverage it to be as engineering like. Everything we're going to do, we're going to try to shape. We will never lie, but we're going to try to shape it to make it as relevant to what you're doing, what you're looking for as possible. So our program absolutely on the resume side helped him and helped teach him to talk about his experiences, to serve him best and end up with that great job. um, all right, good question there, Wiley. Oh, the guy who took 2 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that was, well, I don't know if he took 2, I think it was just 1 year. Um, oh, the guy who got 2 years. Oh, he was a boot camp grad. He didn't have, I don't think he had any college. And he'd been working as nothing engineering related. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was some kind of office kind of thing. Um, so yeah, good question again, Bill Kwok. This is my second time to attend it. I thought you'd been doing an info session. A better understanding. Yeah, no worries. Glad you're here, Bill. Feel free to attend as many times as you need. Glad you were here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. John, so there's an average of 25 apps per week. If you don't reach that level, then you wouldn't be eligible for your money back. That would be 1,300 applications over a year, right? It is a lot. It is a lot of applications. Again, you should be able to knock it out in around half an hour to 45 minutes per week. So it's not a big commitment. And again, if you're not, and it, no, we're not just like you hit 24. You're at, it's 25. You get 3 strikes. And just to be honest with you, we're not like super strict on the strikes. We don't want to be striking people out. That's bad for us in a lot of ways, like a lot of ways. We don't like, it's not in our interest to just arbitrarily be striking people out. um we're going to have a lot of pissed off people if that's what we're doing. But if people are just blatantly just not showing up, and not doing anything, and they just say, I don't want to, that's when we start to get into like strike territory. So if you're putting in an effort and you're like, hey, this week I had 2 interviews, and was having a baby, and my car broke down, whatever, we'll work with you and figure it out. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to try to help. um, All right. Tung, how long do international students with majors unrelated to CS take to get a job? And if you're say international and you're requiring visa sponsorship in the U.S., that they're especially not getting political here, but just sort of the visa environment for folks coming in from out of country is has been a little less friendly or less open, I guess you could say. So the folks on visas have been having longer processing times, both on the government level, but also fewer companies therefore are investing in it. We have seen an increase in the sort of the friction there. That being said, it's not impossible. It's not, and we still do take international students. And I will say, by the way, we're not going to take you into our program if we don't think we can help you get a job. It's just going to be expensive for us. If so, so don't think, well, I'll get into your program and then not get any. I won't get the help I need, and you're just going to be trying to take my money. That would just that's just bad business for us. We don't do that. And we try to align our incentives with your success as well. So um, if we don't think Tung you'd have the background as someone who needs a visa, we'll just say we don't think we're a good fit. Here's what we try to provide recommendations for what we think would help you be a better fit for our program if we don't think you're a good fit right now. And it doesn't mean you won't be a good fit even in just a couple weeks. But we want to set you up for success. You're not in our program. If you're struggling in our program, it's not fun for you. It's not fun for us. It just drags the whole thing down. So we want you to be set up for success before joining. Let me know, Tung, if that answered your question, John. Reason I ask is that I would consider taking on the risk with the 5,000 program. Um, oh, I see. So, and you'd say where you don't want it, the accountability, then, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to be at the end of the day. It's up at that point. The 5,000, it's up to you. If you don't want to have to apply to 25 apps per week, that's fine. And realistically, as long as you're getting interviews, you could be sending out 3 apps per week. And if you have a 100% response rate or 100% hit rate, and you get 3 interviews or 2 interviews, you're fine. The 25 apps, it's just there as like a baseline. The intention isn't to overwhelm you. And if you're really worried about that, we could even write an addendum, to your agreement, and just say, just for clarification, the intention here is just to make sure you have a full job search pipeline, not to just be hitting this arbitrary 25 apps. For some people, the 25 apps can do more harm than good. If you get 10 interviews per week, there's no way you can do 10 interviews per week. You'll completely explode. So the 25 it's intended to be a baseline, not like a hard driving requirement. Yeah, so John, we can work with you on that. No worries at all there. In fact, I'm completely rewriting our service agreement so that language is very, very clear in there. Right now, we just don't, just the way we operate, we just act from a place of honesty. I mean, like, you're going to tell us that you got an offer, right? So like we're already on the honor system already, that you're going to tell us the truth about how much you're getting offered and all that, and that you got an offer. Unfortunately, some people do take advantage of that and don't tell us, and we got to go track them down, and that sucks. But anyway, John, happy to work with you on that to make that more explicit, just so you're comfortable there. As I understand, that's a lot of money, and don't want you to feel like you're throwing it on a roulette table or anything like that. All right. These have all been really good questions. Very good group today. Sometimes the questions are non-existent, so very thorough. Really appreciate everybody asking the questions. If you're signed up for a visitor class, whoever's running the visitor class will also be knowledgeable about the program and be able to answer your questions as well. John asked, how quickly does the application go? It'll take you, if you go to fill it out right now, it shouldn't take you more than a couple minutes at most, especially if you've got your LinkedIn link handy. You don't even need your resume. Just pop in your LinkedIn link, and you should be ready to go. And as far as like us processing it, especially, well, it depends. If you're trying to join the upcoming class, you'll hear back from us certainly within 24 hours, at most like 36 hours. And if you're trying for the class next Monday, you'll probably be getting a phone call from somebody within like no more than a day, to work through any questions you have. Again, should be working with Marissa. She was a recruiter at Amazon as well as other companies, very knowledgeable, and can help get any questions you have there. John asked, I think that I might want to wait until the middle of next year. Yeah, no worries at all. We get people. If you read our reviews, one of the most common things that people say is, "I wish I joined the program earlier," because they wait and then they don't get an offer. They get an offer that they ended up not really wanting to take, and then they're like, "Crap, I could have just avoided all this." I just want to put that out there because it is a common sentiment. But by all means, we've got people every single day. We have people are saying, "I'm going to wait until I give this a shot or that a shot." So we wish you the best. Hope you don't need Outco. I have the same concern as John for the 25 apps per week. Yeah, no worries, Bill. We can work with you on that. Oh, thanks, John. Appreciate that. Yeah, no problem at all, Bill. Same thing applies to everybody here. If that's a concern of yours, I'll be happy to clarify that. It's not our intention to try to like gotcha kind of thing. That was just the way our attorney from 5 years ago wrote the agreement before we fully knew what we were getting into too. They certainly didn't know what we were getting into. So we're working to refine that right now. And again, I think if we'd been just drowning people in apps, I think you'd see it in our reviews. I think people just say, "Oh, I joined Outco and I couldn't keep up with the interviews. They set me up for failing just on their arbitrary 25 apps." So you'll just let us know. Just say, "Hey, I've got enough interviews. I don't need to be applying to 25 apps. Here's my status," and that's that. You're good to go. Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime. Anybody else has? If you have any questions about anything or ever have concerns about the program, we'll do our best to address it as best we can. So if there's anything that you're ever concerned about, you're like, I don't know if this would work for me, or whatever, let us know. We'll do our best to work it out with you. The one thing we can't be too flexible on is the payment plans, just because it's not fair to other people, especially when we get into like the 5,000 people often ask like, can I make it 4 payments? And it's like, well, that kind of defeats the whole thing. Like somebody else is doing the 1,500 up front and paying the 5%, and you're kind of paying like 1,500 now, and you're not going to get charged the 5%. That's not really fair to the people who are doing the other plan. So we try to be as fair across the board as possible. That's the one area we're a little hesitant to be flexible on, just out of fairness to other folks. All right. Yeah, my pleasure, Terry, John, Bill, thank you all. Tung as well. I know Michael, Matthew, you've also been pretty active on here. Yeah, I appreciate everybody being uh, so so thoroughly participating. Regardless of whether or not you decide to join Outco, again, thank you so much for checking us out. I'm gonna try to find a link for y'all on this other interview kickstart, and then with Morgan as well. And if anybody else wants to stick around and ask something like more personal or something, happy to stick around as well. But otherwise, again, thank you for checking us out. You should feel good about, even if you say Outco's not for me, you should feel good that you're not leaving any stone unturned. That's gonna prove out to be valuable for you. Having that tenacity to go through and check everything out, already making you stand out from other folks who are just kind of either trying the same thing over and over again or not opening their mind to new possibilities. So you should feel good about being here, no matter what you decide to do. And again, very grateful for you. So yeah, thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Tung. All right, I'm gonna start to look for this other link now. It might take me just a second. I'm surprised I don't get this question more often. Let's see here. I think it was. I may have already found it. Let's see. And then Morgan, if you could refresh my memory on what your question was. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling up trying to find it while the page loads, and I can't. Oh, the working after in the evening. Let's see. So, oh yes, here's the post right there. So there's my response, or just my thoughts on Outco. It's a year and a half old. I guess I should update this. But that gives you a little better breakdown. And again, I'm never going to say anything about any other program because we haven't been there, and I don't know. Maybe they're improving, maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions about anybody. So trying to be as fair as possible here, and just trying to guide you to what questions I would be asking if I were checking out other programs, and trying to get a feel from there. Morgan, I work from 11 to 8 PST, Monday through Wednesday, meaning I have to clock in soon. Oh, yes, you do. 6 minutes. So let's see if we can get this taken care of. So PST, that would be that's uh, ooh, yeah, that is a tricky time zone. So here's what we've worked with folks, or tricky time shift. So here's how we've worked with folks in the past. Who it's usually there's some flexibility. It sounds like on your end that's like kind of right in the middle of your work day there. So what we typically, let's see, hang on, the PST, that would be 2 p.m. Yeah. So what I usually end up recommending to folks in situation where they have a scheduling conflict is approach your employer and just say, hey, I want to be a better engineer. That's true. And I'm taking this online class. It only runs 4 weeks. So the conflict would only be for 4 weeks. Is there any way I could get like a change in my shift for even just 4 weeks? So that I can take this online class. It'd mean a lot to me. I don't know if you could do that. Um, that usually works. Most employers are usually they'll work with you to figure it out. Especially an engineer. Honestly, you have some leverage. They don't want to have to go find a new engineer. It's expensive. And you're probably a reliable resource for them at that point. So generally speaking, if you approach it right, now, if you need some help on how to approach that, I'd be happy to talk with you and try to help you out if we can for approaching that conversation with your employer. Um, they're not super receptive, and it's an IT. It's an in IT. It's I'm not sure what that means. It's a role that's in IT, and which is to say not software engineering. Is that what I'm? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so oh, that's tough. I don't know if they could even just shift your hours a little bit. It sounds like you might be on like kind of like a shift, and then the next shift comes in, and the next shift comes in, which might make it tricky. If you could switch shifts, um, otherwise, coming through our program, not going in real time defeats a lot of the value because what it's like like for instance, if we sent you recordings of the classes, it's like going to having your friend go to the gym and videotape what's going on at the gym, like or videotape. No one uses tape anymore. Videoing what's going on at the gym. Sitting there watching someone exercise isn't going to do anything for you. So it's really the value of the program is really coming in and getting that hands-on practice guided with the coaches. So if if you're not able to do that, it's going to be tough, Morgan. Again, if you'd like, we could try to help you out and how to have those conversations with your employer. Um, Otherwise, yeah, that's a really usually if someone has a time zone or a scheduling conflict, one of our time zone classes will work for them. But yours is kind of like interestingly right kind of in the middle of the day there. I can't say we've had someone with that kind of a shift before. Um, Shoot, yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure I have any other ideas. I'll work on it. I can send an email to Sheila. Yeah, that works just fine. Email Sheila, and if you need help, just say, hey, I'd like to talk to Dan or to Marissa, somebody to try to help strategize about how to approach this with my employer, or if they push back and say we can't really do that, maybe we could help you work out one last sort of massaged approach with them to try to get them to be amenable to it. But I would emphasize that them doing this is going to give a return for them and help. Oh, right, you're not an engineer. Dang it. I don't know if you saying like I'm going to be taking an engineering class would be that might make them concerned then that you're going to leave the job. So that's a tough one. Let's see. And I'm a bit confused at the deadlines when the classes start. I'll look through the websites and ask Sheila as well. I'm trying to get as far away from this company as possible. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, Morgan. That sucks. Yeah, if you just again scroll all the way down to the bottom of the website, the class dates are down there. I thought they were um, oh, and our deadline is actually not the 9th. It's actually today. So don't worry if you haven't applied and you're applying today for next Monday. That the app deadline hasn't passed. Don't worry, you can still apply. Um, Dang. Well, Morgan, I'm really sorry you're in that. That's a really tricky. Usually we can figure something out, but you've got kind of two things working sort of both the prongs of our approach here. So maybe we can put our heads together and figure something else out. We'd definitely like to help you get out of that company that you're not happy at. But otherwise, that's kind of where we're at. Okay. I'll keep in touch. Next opportunity would be January for the Eastern time zone class. That's right. It's January. Pacific time zone class doesn't work for you. Then January 4th would be your next one. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I really thank you for everybody's time. Really means a lot, again, that you're here. And again, wish you all the best. Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Have a great rest of your day. It's now on the West Coast, the hump of the hump day. So we're all right in the middle of it. And hope the second half is great for you. For those of you on the East Coast, glad to see you further down the hump. All right. Take care, everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Wiley. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate you all coming by. Hope to see you soon. Yeah, thank you, Terry. That bathrobe looks comfy. All right, thank you, Khalid. Take care, everybody. All right, so long.